my fellow comic book collectors. It's on the Comic Collector Geek, and this is the Friday video where I challenge people to look through their long boxes and show some books based on a theme. And this theme is biggest grails or books that you've picked up in 2024. So I'm going to show my biggest top 10 biggest books that I picked up this year. I was actually shocked that certain books that I thought were my biggest books didn't make the list. For example, I picked up the Flash Quarterly #1. It didn't make the list. It didn't make my top 10. That gives you a sense of this top 10. So these are big books. These are the biggest books that I picked up this year, and they're all huge. So let's get right into it. The first one on the list is this book. It's my only raw one that's on the list. It is Detective Comics 122. It is the first appearance of Catwoman on the cover. Okay, it's on the cover. Her first cover appearance. So you get to see the new Catwoman costume as well. The original Catwoman costume didn't quite look like this. It was a bit, it was a bit lamer. It was just a cat mask, basically. But this is when you get to see the more modern version of Catwoman. And yeah, it's a great cover. You get her like scratching. Poor little Robin. Robin's always getting the brunt of all the punishment. So this is Detective Comics 122. I paid $900 for this, so it's the lowest on the list. Okay, and that was a great price. So actually, it's probably worth more than that. It's a 1.0, maybe, yeah, probably a 1.0, maybe a 1.5 on a good day. The next book, which I paid a bit more for, is Catman. This is a great LB Cole cover. It's Catman 31. Paid just under $1,000 for this. Just under $1,000. It was $980. But this is like a classic LB Cole cover. And it's in a reasonable grade. 3.0 is a pretty good grade for this book. So it's just a classic cover with the wolves like coming in. You know, it's dog versus cat, and it's got that classic situation where, you know, the hero's holding his sidekick. This predates all the, you know, heroes holding their sidekicks in that sort of dead pose. This is like, I think, one of the earliest versions of that, and it's just a great cover. This is from 1946. So just a great classic LB Cole cover. That's number 9 on my list. Number 8 is Perfect Crime number 23. This is one of my favorite pre-code horror covers / crime. It's more of a crime cover, but it has a pre-code horror feel to it. Definitely, it gives me always, whenever I see this cover, always reminds me of the Ring movie. Just the mirror and the wallpaper and just the girl crawling for help is interesting. But I love this one. The shadow of the villain. I don't know, like the monster. He's almost like a monster. He looks like a monster in the mirror. You can see his very creepy face. But the shadow goes right across the trade dress. It's just so brilliant, this cover. It's an Ogden Whitney cover, I believe. No, it's actually, is it Ogden Whitney? No, it doesn't say who did the cover. I always get this one confused with another book. So it's like an unknown artist that did this one. Just a really great cover, though. And it's a 1.5. This goes for about, in this grade, goes for about $1,300. That's how much I paid for it. So even a 1.5. So that's the next book on the list. And number 7 on the list is one that's just, it's a crazy cover. It's one of the more crazy covers from the Golden Age. This is Daredevil number 11, and I paid $13.75 for this. It's in a 2.0. Actually, I was quite happy to get that because there was a 2.0 restored that sold for more. So I was quite happy to get a Blue Label book for cheaper than the restored one. And it's just it's a great cover with this Quasimodo-like character, and he's tickling the girl's toes. Just he's like drooling on her too. Just a crazy cover. Girl in the red dress. You got Daredevil in the background coming in to try to save the day, throwing his boomerang at the monster guy. And then you get all these people in cages. It's just a really crazy cover. This is, I believe, Charles Biro cover. So yeah, Charles Biro did the cover in 1942. And yeah, just cool book. Just a really crazy cover. Next one on my list, I overpaid for this one. This probably should be lower on the list, but I overpaid. I totally overpaid. It's one of those ones, I love the cover, and I got kind of that frenzy of, you're at auction, and you gotta, you don't want to miss out on the book. And after I bought this, a whole bunch came up afterwards. It's a pretty rare book. There's only a few, like 30 small on the census. But whenever I buy something, all of a sudden, everyone has to sell it. I don't know why. And so it's like, but this one I paid $1,400 for, and that was a record sale, way higher than it probably should go for around $1,100. But so I didn't really super overpay, but I kind of overpaid, maybe even $1,000. It was a big overpay. So yeah, but this is a great cover. This Voodoo number 835. Not a bad grade. Presents really, really nicely, actually. And you got this crazy kind of Egyptian slash, I don't know, some weird skull mask. Just a crazy cover. With a snake as well. I just love it. I always like these metal bra covers. I think they're cool. So, Voodoo number 8 from 1953. I'm not sure who did the cover on that one, though. Next one is a really big Batman book. I was quite excited to get this. I had actually looked for this book many times, and usually it was a fairly pricey book. And what you could get, there was a 0.5 that I kept on seeing, and I was like, should I buy a 0.5? It was missing the centerfold, and it was almost the same price as this book. But this one I think is a way better book. This was a 4.0 of Batman 59, which is the first appearance of Bloodshot, I should say. Bloodshot. And I always mess up the see? Bloodsport, Deathshot. I'm just going through my random names. Deathshot. I always do that. I mess up the names, and I'm like, I'm gonna be wrong about that. It's the first appearance of Deathshot. He was played by Will Smith in the original Suicide Squad, but slightly different character. He's more like the second Deadshot in terms of the types of characters, but still a cool character. This one, he's more of a gentleman, like very old school style character. But this is also a cool Batman sci-fi cover where they're out in space in this kind of bat spacecraft. It's very classic Batman. And yeah, so this is Batman number 59 from 1950, and it's Kane and Schwartz cover. Very cool classic one. I got this for how much was it? I'm trying to find the price. Oh yeah, $1,325. So I thought that was a great price for such great Batman key. This is a really cool cover, cool character, cool story. Lots going for that one. Now we're getting to the last few. So number 4 on my list is a really big book. I've been wanting this one for a long time. It's a restored book, but it is a crazy awesome book. This is such a hard book to find. And and generally people want big money for this book. Because it's restored, I was able to get it for a fraction of the graded blue label versions of this book. Generally, this book will go for around 5,000 to 6,000 in a 7.0, so in a blue label. I got this for $1,600. So it's still expensive. I'm not saying it's a cheap book, but still expensive. But it's just such a great one. And what's the restoration on it? It's Slate C1. Restoration includes small amount of color touch on the cover. Now that's one of the things with this book. It is, got the black, and that is one of those things where a lot of people will kind of fill in the black to hide some of the spine ticks. So that's a very common tactic. And there's a lot of black on the cut back. So it's very common to get a Sharpie and then fill in those black lines. Try to get a little bit better grade. Well, it does present really well, but that's not the best way to make your book more valuable. But this is the first printing, and it is just a great Dave Sim story cover and art. And it's the first appearance of Cerebus. It's a classic character, and he's Canadian, Dave Sim. So, bit of Canadian connection there as well. Okay, next big book, number 3 on the list, is one that actually, I got this for a steal. This was a steal. Still expensive, but a steal. I think the last sale for it was like $9,000. I got it for, how much did I pay? I think it was like 40 something. 4,700, yeah. So this is my Detective Comics number 140. This is the first appearance of the Riddler, one of those classic characters for the Batman's Rogues Gallery. Just a cool character. I always liked him in the 1967 show. I just thought he was always cool. How he's coming up with riddles, and they'd be the most obscure riddles ever. It just didn't make any sense. But Batman would somehow figure them all out, and it was always fun to watch him come up with the solutions to the crazy riddles. So I really enjoyed that. So I'm a big Riddler fan, actually. So this is Detective Comics from 1948, and it's a Win Mortimer cover. Just a fun one. So you can see why it's a 1/8. It's missing a big piece there, but still, I think, if you just hold it like this, wow, it's like a really high grade. It's actually a pretty nice presenting copy, except for that tear. But just I'm quite happy to have it. So Detective Comics 140. So that's number 3 on my list. As you can see, it's big books. One that I just recently showed, number 2 on my list. This is one I just recently showed. If you watch my finale from my latest unboxing, I showed this book. But I'm going to show it again. This is number 2 on my list. And this is All American Comics number 61. Now, I paid $9,600 for this book. Actually, I paid a bit more than probably I should have. Probably it's worth more in the $9,000 range. I kind of overpaid. But the reason I overpaid was I bought it from my comic shop. Ding. Do the little ding. They allowed me to do time payments. And that's why I was willing to pay a little extra for those time payments. Basically, it was a huge book for me. I really wanted to get this book. I thought the price was a little high, but worth it. I really thought, hey, I'll do the time payments and I'll sort it out. I'll pay it off in like 6-7 months, and it'll be all good. I really love this whole cover and story, and really interesting story. it's worthy of reading. You know, he's basically like a zombie. It's just like so crazy. Yeah, it's just, but he's unkillable, and he robs all the stores and stuff, and the Green Lantern has to come up with a way to beat him, and it's actually quite challenging. So I just love this. It's such a classic cover. It has that pre-code horror feel to it. It's just such a brilliant book. So this is All American Comics number 61. Origin and First Appearance of Solomon Grundy. And it's Paul Renman, cover and art. Just a great book. And Baby Ruth on the back. So, just a really cool book. I really love this one. So that's my number 2 on the list. So what's number 1? What's number 1 on the list? What's my biggest book that I picked up this year? Well, you'll have to wait till Monday to find out, because I'm going to show it. I'm going to reveal it on Monday. So this is a bit of a, bit of a prep video for those people who don't know that I'm going to be unveiling my biggest book for 2024 on Monday's show. So stay tuned for that. It'll be on the evening show at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll be streaming it live, where I'll be showing the biggest pickup for 2024. It is a big book. It makes these ones look lame. It's a major book. Actually, if you add up all of these together, almost the same price. So just gives you a sense. Just a really cool book. I'm pretty excited to unveil it. That'll be on Monday. So stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want to participate, all you have to do is use the top 10 2024 and hashtag Friday cover challenge, or Friday comic challenge. And if you do those 2 hashtags, then people that follow these top 10 lists will all be connected and see your video and check them out. So there's a few channels that already participate in this, and it's a fun thing to do on a weekly basis. So I hope people enjoyed this video. Please try it. Just try to make a little video to show your top 10 pickups for 2024. So thanks for watching. Bye for now.